That might be the problem. Righteous, are you still out there?
Yeah, I'm around.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone listen up. In YouTube, can you hear me on YouTube?
Not yet.
Anyone from chat, can you hear me? YouTube chat, not? No, he can't hear me.
Yes, coming through right
Wait,
now.
we can hear you now. It was a big
right
delay.
now.
Okay, Arwen, radio check, just say radio check. Everyone else, shut up. Arwen, just give a radio check to Righteous on YouTube. Oh my God. Would somebody from Discord give a fucking radio check and let
Hello,
Righteous try to hear it?
Hello,
Sound is
Righteous, can you
stable.
hear me?
Sound is stable right now.
Righteous.
You fixed it.
Righteous, can you hear? You can hear Discord. Unfrigging believable. I think I got it. We patchworked this together. Let me tell you something, dudes. I don't know how I did it. You know, when you just run into something backwards, like a sun shines on a dog's ass every now and again. This was my last resort. It looks like it's working. Forgive me. Welcome to BALLBUSTERS, episode 87, The Aether. Unfriggin' So how's everyone doing out there?
Great.
So let me get some radio checks.
Now we're doing great.
Now
we're doing great. Now that the show's
Enjoying the
going
summer.
on.
Enjoying the summer. Typical summer situation.
1 second, folks. I'm still working around some issues in here. Obviously, things seem to be working now.
I was worried for a moment that I'd have to continue believing light was a wave if this show didn't happen.
yeah. Yeah, so we're finally gonna kick it off. My co-pilot, the distinguished Nathan Oakley, is not going to be able to make it on the show today. Sadly, folks, it's his birthday today. So just wanted to shout him out. Any other nooks and crannies we need to get into? Let me check YouTube again. See what we got going on here. It looks like it's pretty active. It looks like the sound is working fine out there. Somebody from chat, hey, Paula, can you hear me and everyone in Discord? You folks in Discord, go ahead and rumpus each other.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm talking all over you, bro.
Yes, can you hear me?
Shut up, let me talk, let me talk.
Yep.
YouTube world.
No, my point is more important than yours.
Everything I say should be heard.
Okay, Paula, can you hear all of us lunatics? I'm just waiting for a text from Paula. And then we can ensue. Yes, can hear everyone. Thanks a lot, Paula. Appreciate that. Thanks, Righteous. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Okay, check. That's working. Check. Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Welcome, finally, to BALLBUSTERS episode 87, Aether. We're going to get down to it here in a few seconds. I just want to make sure everything is GG. Good to go.
What's ether?
That is the question. Okay, looking good. What's up, Tony? All the guys in chat, thanks for coming, guys. Well, we got another potential problem, but I think I can muffle that problem. Let's say this is wild. It's a good test for me because this never happened, and I'm not the most, how would you say, OBS Discord savvy person out there.
It's called computer adaptation skills, QE.
Yeah, I'm not all that. I wouldn't. If there was a scale of 1 to 100, I'd be like 3,000. And the higher you go, the worse it gets. So that's where I'm at. So it was like walking on eggshells in here. Sorry if I got a little impatient. Patience isn't one of my virtues. I have few, and that is definitely not one. So sorry I was barking off, but I thought I gave simple instructions. Apparently I didn't. But hey, we got it. So let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, you think I'm the good guy, Tony? Yeah, I think you're in the minority. I think everyone thinks I'm the bad guy. So say goodnight to the bad guy, right? And I'm going to be a bad guy again today because no one else will be the bad guy. So I might as well. Yeah, I thought so too. Let's see if we can get this going. We're not going to play around. We're going to get right into the presentation. Does anyone else mind on Discord?
No, get to it. I've been waiting.
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
think so.
yeah.
All right.
QE is going to be a bad boy.
Yeah, be careful with your mics. Mic discipline, please, while I'm in the presentation. I'd appreciate that. And I'm sure all the folks out in the YouTube land would too. Let me just make sure everything... No, I can't make sure everything's good to go out there. I got to do this. Let me do it one more time anyway, folks. Sorry. Yeah, everything looks good. Let's put that down. Let's get to the Aether presentation. All right, listen. About 4 years ago, I came out and said that the biggest threat to flat Earth were pretender clown flat earthers. And I started naming the players, one particular one that was going to lead the charge that wasn't a flat earther. And I was quite vocal about it and expressed my views to a lot of people privately. All I got back was the majority. I'm saying 99.9% was just QE, chill out, right? We don't need this. More or less, they were saying kumbaya and all this stuff. There was a lot of people that messaged me, and I went against my better judgment and rolled with the flow, what they suggested, and I didn't say anything. Now, I've said it behind the scenes privately plenty of times since then. And I'm sure there's some people on the panel here, the Discord panel, that have heard me say it. All right? You are going to hear it again. This time, I'm not going to make a questionable judgment call. All right? This is over. I'm going to end it. Any questions? That's rhetorical. Okay, so about 5 months ago, I was in Discord, and there were a number of Aether believers in the same voice channel. And I asked them, I said, what is it? What is Aether? 99% of the answers are from that meeting on this list. The two that weren't there were number 17 and, I don't want to say number 1 wasn't there because they did say it was a medium, although they didn't say it was a non-manifested medium. But you guys get the picture. Let's go through them. This is the answers that I got. Number 1, non-manifested medium. Number 2, the oneness. The dome. Magnetic fields. Space. The substance of space. Liquid flowing in and out of matter. Everything. Photons. The background medium. We can see it. We can't see it. Quantum foam. Subtle energy. Inertia. Lightning. No cookies. Vacuum energy. Now, I don't know about you, but if I ask somebody something, even a few people, I may get 3 different answers. I shouldn't even get 3 different answers when I ask people what something is. One thing. One something. And I get all these, you know that there is a rooster in the hen house. If you don't know it, you're in the wrong genre. Start over in primary school. Okay? Because you have no awareness whatsoever. So, that as the background medium, let's take a look at this. Now, I'm going to make this more or less anonymous, right? Because I don't think it really matters. I've heard many Aether believers say these 2 statements. You're seeing one up here. You're going to see another one just below. For the most part, they're saying the same thing. I haven't heard too much different. All right? So I don't want to straw man anyone. This came out. Somebody said this, and I want to deal with it. Well, somebody made both statements, but I'm sure it's agreed upon by all of them. If there's a problem, if there's any impropriety here, go ahead and let me know. I don't think there is. So, Aether believer. There is a background medium, Aether, for propagation of electromagnetic waves. And what they're talking about is light. Okay. Let's define terms. What's a medium in physics? From the physics classroom, a medium is a substance or material that carries the wave. Seems to line up pretty much. It didn't say electromagnetic waves, but it did say waves, so it's got the theme. From Wiki, transmission medium. In physics and telecommunications, any material substance which can propagate waves or energy. That seems the perfect match, right? Just didn't say light. But it really doesn't have to. This is what we're talking about. It's a material substance. From Byjust.com, in physics, medium is defined as the substance that transfers the energy or light, now this one says light, from one substance to another substance, or from one place to another, or from one surface to another. So everyone gets this, that a medium is defined as something material. Makes sense, right? The next statement, ether believer. Why is there a vacuum energy? Nothing that is a true vacuum can't exist. Therefore, there must be a non-manifested medium in a vacuum for electromagnetic waves to propagate through, because waves need a medium. Therefore, ether. Key learning objective number 1. Non-manifested mediums is non sequitur fallacy, contradiction in terms. Exactly the same as non-manifested orangutans, non-manifested turkey squirrels, non-manifested cookies, ad infinitum. The instant you claim medium in this reality, you instantly invoke material. And, as I just posted above, transmission medium in physics and telecommunications, any material substance which can propagate waves or energy, and a medium is substance or material that carries a wave. Married bachelors, achromatic rainbows, military intelligence, Elmer Fudd, Mr. Magoo, and Baby Huey are all doubled over in the corner vapor locking from tear-jerking belly laugher syndrome. I could prosecution rest right here, and anyone that can fog a mirror could belly laugh any pretender clown ether believer into the incoherent, double-speaking, contradictory oblivion, and be justified in doing so. I just showed you. You've got a contradiction in terms there, friends. I can stop right here. Prosecution rests. What you gonna do? The only thing you can do is redefine a medium. That's all you can do. Baller-esque, right? You'll not only be in a law of identity violation, you'll have an equivocation fallacy cherry topper. So it's really all over right here. How you like that? Usually with lies and abject, mind-numbing speculation, you can destroy it pretty quickly. Little effort. I can do this in my sleep. But should our prosecution rest right here? I'd probably disappoint everyone that showed up and said, well, come on, QE, is that it? Okay, I guess I can entertain you. I brought down the previous comment above because I know people have problems focusing. They'll forget what was said earlier. So I'll just post it here again. Ether believer, why is there vacuum energy? Nothing, true vacuum, can exist. Therefore, there must be a non-manifested medium in a vacuum for electromagnetic waves to propagate through, because waves need a medium, therefore ether. So we already dealt with the non-manifested medium. Quasi-train wreck false dichotomy fallacy. Why? Because there's not actually two choices up here, is there? It's a tautology of merely one choice. You see this? Nothing, true vacuum. Non-manifested medium. You see this? A, true vacuum is no medium. B, the train wreck non-manifested medium also is no medium. So there's only one choice. P.S. To demonstrate something is a false dichotomy, you can either A, provide a viable third option, or pummel one or both of the proposed choices as ludicrous. That is, demonstrate that there are not two viable choices offered. Make sense? Probably have to teach on that for the next 6 years. Number 3, this is, I'll have to admit to you, when I first started writing this, I had, I got all these thoughts in my mind. I'm trying to connect them, right? When I put this together, right, it was much longer than it is right now. I figured I'd stop right there, down here at the facepalm. But I could go on for quite some time. Check this out. Number 3, which one is the non-manifested medium? The electromagnetic wave train wreck? Oh, by the way, they don't exist. We're going to get to that here in a few seconds. I know that's shocking. I'm going to show you in spades. So, which one is the non-manifested medium? The electromagnetic waves or ether? Because they also agree a wave is not what something is. It's what a medium does. Therefore, electromagnetic waves, being waves, must be the medium. As a conclusion from the premise of the first statement. Where's the ether? Is it a non-manifested medium somewhere else? Moreover, don't electromagnetic waves manifest? They think they're light, right? So to them, they manifest. Isn't electromagnetic waves a description of what something is? But haven't we already established above that a wave is not what something is? This convoluted gaggle screw of contradictory gibberish is fathoms below baller retardia. And B, is light the non-manifested medium in a dark vacuum? Let that marinate for a while. Number 4, vacuums. That is high, very high, extreme. That's 10 to the negative third to and through 10 to the negative 17 torr. Do not exist in nature. See the second law of thermodynamics. To even invoke the non sequitur, non-manifested medium, you must first invoke something that doesn't exist in nature. Baller-esque, perhaps? B, the entire subject ether is outside the parameters of natural science and natural law. Number 5, I know this is going to be shocking to most of you. Electromagnetic waves do not exist. Light is not waves. From Richard Feynman, the first thing Newton believed light was corpuscular. Turned out that it had very strange properties from that point of view. And it was then explained that many of these strange properties was because, in fact, it was a wave, which was wrong. Turned out he was right. It was a particle. From Professor Shankar, chair of physics at Yale, one of the most prestigious universities in the entire friggin' world. Everything is really particles. All things, electrons, photons, light, protons, neutrons, they are all particles. So let there be no doubt about that. That's quite interesting. He's saying that with some confidence, right? Like he knows something. Let there be no doubt about that, hey? That's very interesting. Let me ask you a question. Where are these ether believers getting their waves from? When these guys, the pillars, are telling them that they're particles. Where are they getting the waves from? They got to be getting it from somewhere. They just didn't make it up. Did they? I know where they got it from. Him. Debunked Maxwell. James Clerk. One each. Debunked over 100 years ago. By the way, this isn't a theory, and it's a non-scientific theory. So I don't know why they're calling it. They just call it, should say Maxwell's house or something. So again, for Professor Shankar, all right, so today we're going to shoot down Newtonian mechanics. That's left for another day. I've already did that about 80 times. But I digress. Today we're going to shoot down Newtonian mechanics and Maxwell's theory. We're like the press. We build somebody up only to destroy them. I wonder what destroy means. Back to Professor Shankar. So here's what you do to find out what's wrong with electrodynamics. I mean, Maxwell House, or Maxwell's theory. It all starts with the double slit experiment. Actually, it doesn't. Now, what he's going to do right after he says this, he train wrecks Maxwell forever in about 30 seconds. So all you need to do is get a really weak light source, and all you need is a single slit. You don't need a double slit. It's not an experiment anyway. You don't need that. All you need is a really weak light source, a single slit, and some film or a photographic plate. And what you do, if it's not a weak light source, you move that monkey back, really far back, and you just sit there and wait. And then when that film gets exposed, right, here's what you do. You put your beak right up to that film, and as soon as you see a discrete chunk exposed, Maxwell vaporizes forever. Phlogiston has more veracity than Maxwell. It's as easy as that. Why don't you try that out there? You monkeys. Go ahead and try that, what I just said, and see what happens every single time. And then call that a friggin' wave. I want you to do that. Oh, there's the wave right there. Huh. I must have been mistaken. Let's see. From Professor Shankar again. So we have to play this game in two ways. It is particles, but its future is determined by a wave. You're debunked, QE. That's it for you, brother. Yeah. But, that's a really big but. The wave is purely mathematical. Uh-oh. You cannot put an instrument to measure the energy due to that wave. It's a construct we use to determine what will happen in this experiment. Over. Well, it was over above. Right there at medium. Yeah. It's purely mathematical. This wave has no energy. But you got Jedi mind trick. I know who you got Jedi mind trick by. I'm going to get to him below. Purely mathematical. Well, if you think Professor Shankar, the chair of physics at Yale, is a numpty, then let's go to the University of Tennessee. Let's see what they have to say. You're going to find this everywhere, by the way. In one dimension, wave functions. There we go. See, that's what they're talking about. As soon as you say wave in mathematical, it's a wave function. Get it? I digress. In one dimension, wave functions are often denoted by the symbol psi. They are functions of the coordinate x and the time t. But psi is not real. It's not real, but a complex function. The Schrödinger equation does not have real, but complex functions. I don't know what else to say here to you folks. The wave function of a particle at a particular time contains all the information that anybody at that time can have about the particle. But the wave function, itself has no physical interpretation. It's not material. It's not physical. It's purely mathematical. That's the least of your problems. B, light photons falsely... Watch this, folks. This is a belly laugher. Photons falsely characterized as electromagnetic waves are neither electric or magnetic. Magnetism is caused by the motion of electric charges. Light is not affected by magnetism or is itself magnetic. From Science ABC, photons are particles, with no charge. Do you see this? You see this, guys, right here? With no charge. And therefore remain unaffected by the influence of electrons and thus undisturbed by magnets. The path light takes, this is from Department of Physics, University of Illinois. The path light takes is not affected by the presence of a magnetic field. Again, photons are not waves. So pray tell, how can light that is neither waves, electric, or magnetic be called electromagnetic waves? Por favor. It's like calling an amoeba a multi-celled prokaryote. We're off the reservation here, folks. This is, it's not even a belly laugher. Why do I even have to present on this? That's my question. What? Did somebody have something to say? Do not say anything until the end of the presentation, please. Thanks. So, let's work with this. So, let's entertain the ether, non-science, conjure, non-manifested medium train wreck for a moment. Ether believers smelly belly slobber their way up to the bar with a vacuum chamber, pull as much air as possible out of it, and shine a light from one end to the other, then say, ether must exist for light to propagate through. And Bob's your uncle. Okie dokie. Let's have the fine folks over in Sandusky, Ohio, place a pitching machine full of baseballs in their vacuum chamber and drop that monkey to 10 to the -6 torr. That's their limit, by the way. Turn the pitching machine on, and let's see if the baseballs propagate across the chamber. Do the baseballs, which are not waves, or maybe they are. You'll have to ask him. I digress. Do the baseballs, which are not waves, need a non-manifested medium to propagate to the other side of the chamber? How about if I then invoke non-manifested carrier pigeons as the mechanism for propagation? Then challenge you to show proof of the contrary, and when you can't disprove my claim, therefore my non-manifested carrier pigeons mechanism must be true. How you like them apples? You know what this tear-jerking Mr. Magoo belly laugher is? The whole thing up here? Their whole spiel? You know what that is? A textbook argument from ignorance fallacy. Description: the assumption of a conclusion or fact based primarily on the lack of evidence to the contrary. What more do I need to do, folks, for you? I don't know. If you don't get it by now, you need to call your therapist. More. Oh, there's still more. Sorry. More friggin' over. These pretender clown flat earthers all in unison claim Einstein did away with the ether. Y'all heard it before, right? How many times have you heard that? So I guess what they're trying to do is they're trying to juxtapose all the pretender clown pseudoscientists along with Einstein against the virtuous flat earth ether believers, and to say, just because Einstein said that, therefore ether must be true. I guess that's what they're going for. I can't tell you. You're going to have to ask them. Right? But we all heard them say that. Well, let's see if this is true. From Albert Einstein in 1920, from his own hand. It even has it in the title, Ether and the Theory of Relativity. You can't make this up. We may say that according to the general theory of relativity, space, you understand that the general theory of relativity is not an actual scientific theory, and space, that is the vacuum of space, doesn't exist. But I digress. Let me start over. We may say that according to the general theory of relativity, space is endowed with physical qualities. In this sense, therefore, there exists an ether. But wait a second. I thought that Einstein did away with the ether. I don't know, unless my reading comprehension is hovering right around Helen Keller. Am I mistaken here? What am I missing? Continues, according to the general theory of relativity, space without ether is unthinkable. Sounds like your Einstein is a bedfellow, doesn't it? Space without ether is unthinkable, for in such space there not only would be, there we go, no propagation of light. So we're all talking about the same ether, because this is what you're saying, right? So there's no misconstruing the word. He's all over it. There not only would be no propagation of light, but also no possibility of existence for standards of space and time, measuring rods and clocks, whatever. Nor therefore any space-time intervals in the physical sense. Shocking. Yeah. But this ether may not be thought of as endowed with quality characteristic of ponderable media. What the hell does that mean? Like ponderable, like to think about it? Or juggle in your hand? I don't know. As consisting of parts which may be tracked through time, the idea of motion may not be applied to it. Whatever. The important point, there exists an ether, and space without ether is unthinkable, is directly contradictory to the pretender clown flat earthers' claim and their juxtaposition as a whole. Conclusion. Check this out. The main reason why we're in this heliocentric religious mess in the first place is we had pseudoscience pretender clowns masquerading as scientists who took effects, not apply any scientific validation whatsoever, conjure then substitute logical fallacy and models for experiment, Jedi mind trick the science illiterate masses into mindlessly parroting belly-laughing ball-tarred fairy tales as science, and voila, the heliocentric model complete with ranting religious lunatic support. Now, we have the so-called higher-up flat earthers who take non-natural effects. Listen, at least the goobers up here, the pseudoscience baltards, at least they had some effects that were natural. You can at least give them that. These guys down here don't even have natural effects. But I digress. Now we have the so-called higher-up flat earthers who take non-natural effects, not apply any scientific validation whatsoever. That is experiment. Then substitute their fairy tale train wreck logical fallacies, which I identified above, and philosophical stories, mindlessly parroted from and brought to you by the tattooed Jabba the Hutt, Elmer Fudd, Uncle Fester fuckwit, Ken Wheeler. Substitute logical fallacy in their model in lieu of actual science. Jedi mind trick the science illiterate pretended clown flat earther masses. And yes, it's a big mass. Into mindlessly parroting, belly-laughing, fallacious fairy tales is valid. And voila, ether, complete with ranting religious lunatic support. What's the difference? P.S. The belly-laughing garnish. The higher-up pretender clown flat earthers justify their dumpster fire above by couching it as a retort against the scientist and an actual bedfellow of theirs, Einstein, that lied to everyone in the first place and against natural science in general. All the while, the scientists who were/are peddling the heliocentric horseshit were not and are not actual scientists. But the higher-up pretender clown flat earthers and their parroting parishioners don't know this because they themselves wouldn't know what natural science or the scientific method was if it climbed up their arse and started kicking footballs wrapped in concertina wire. I asked this before. Got a question. What's the difference between the heliocentric pseudoscience pretender clown spinning space monkeys masquerading as scientists and what they did, and the so-called higher-up flat earth pretender clown flat earthers and what they're now doing? Prosecution rests.
Which pretender clowns are you specifically referencing, Kiwi?
Wasn't I clear?
Well, there's a lot of directions we could go with this. I have my own suspicions.
I don't care about the people. I care about the topic. Except one that I already identified. You know who he is. The tattooed Jabba the Hutt, Elmer
I
Fudd,
knew
Uncle Fester, Fuckwit, Ken Wheeler. That's the only one identified. Other than that, I really don't care. This argument is about cowbell. It's about substance. Pardon the pun. Not
I
about
would
people.
just like to. Sorry.
It's not about people. So, next question.
With you. I just wanted to shout out the chat and say that I call it. But yeah, this is something we just have to do, right? I mean, if people get out of control, grab too high, and just don't learn from their mistakes, we have to move in, right? We have to figure it out. We have to figure out what they're doing and why they're doing it and what's driving them, how that works, and just get it under control or adapt against it, right? And we're doing that. We're all going forward, and it's going great. I think that adaptation in a spiritual sense is happening quick, and it's looking glorious, really. Like, tension is high, but it's working. We're doing it.
Okay, I would like to say something.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, QE. This has been a long time coming, and I've been screaming for this for at least a year now. Enough is enough.
Thanks.
I might say something if you don't mind, QE.
No, go ahead, Brian.
Thank you. Very good presentation. What jumps out to me is that when someone who is a flat earther and claims gravity doesn't exist, but then does claim that ether exists, by saying gravity doesn't exist, they're saying ether doesn't exist. Because obviously gravity in its current form, being Einstein's relativity, that involves the ether. So if they're saying Einstein's relativity doesn't exist, or anything he says is all the things he said was wrong and they can't be proven, they don't exist, then the ether is a glue. It's a part of his theory. So if his theory can't exist, then neither can the ether. Or if they're saying the ether does exist, are they not saying that the theory of general relativity also exists in reality and not just as Einstein's colloquial theory?
That's a clever take there, Brian. I didn't think of that.
But really, Einstein's position? Really? Or is that what people later speculated on top of it? Just asking.
No, Einstein's general theory of relativity. Brian was pretty clear what he said. I didn't see it when because I was had my attentions elsewhere. But good one, Brian. Yes, I'd agree with that. You are correct, Brian.
Thank you.
Yep.
Really? Einstein on with ether just like that?
Say again, Arwen. Do we have to explain this to you?
Yeah, I'm just asking, raw questioning.
No, go ahead.
You know,
What's your question?
was Einstein really on with ether? Did he really
I
believe
just
that?
read it out to you.
Absolutely, he was.
You want me to read it again?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, please. I
I think it
missed
would be
it.
good, John.
All right. So, Albert Einstein, 1920. From Ether and the Theory of Relativity. We may say that according to the general theory of relativity, space is endowed with physical qualities. In this sense, therefore, there exists an ether. According to the general theory of relativity, space without ether is unthinkable. For in such space, there not only would be no propagation of light, but also no possibility of existence for standards of space and time, measuring rods and clocks, nor therefore any space-time intervals in the physical sense. But this ether may not be thought of as endowed with the quality characteristic of ponderable media, as consisting of parts which may be tracked through time. The idea of motion may not be applied to it. End of citation.
Pretty much sums it up there.
What a dumbass. I didn't know he was that stupid. God. I mean, he already married his cousin twice. No, but Jesus.
I wasn't
Okay.
ready for that one, sorry. You caught me off guard with that one, Arvid.
That's why it's called the relativity.
Okay, I got a question.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah.
So I know it's something that you already explained in your presentation. Still, since you said that you might end up explaining that same thing for the next 6 years, so I would want to put an end to it right here, right now. Why is it a false dichotomy to say that either there is a medium or there is not a medium? What is the third option?
No,
Why is it a false dichotomy?
no, you're missing it. What he did, what the person did when he made the argument. Let me go ahead and put this up so I don't. There's no mistake on what I mean. Hold up 1 second. I'll put it up. Let me find that was up a ways, wasn't it? I'll spend the next 6 years explaining this. That's a good one. You caught me on that. Where'd it go? Was that up in the beginning?
It was close to the beginnings, Kiwi.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it went off. That was the real close point. Okay, sorry about that. Just give me a moment. There we go. Let me put it up. Let me read the statement for you. Ether believer, why is there vacuum energy? So here comes the two choices. Nothing, a true vacuum, can't exist. Therefore, there must be a non-manifested medium. You see it? So the two choices are a true vacuum, well, that's no medium, and a non-manifested medium. Of course, that's a contradiction in terms. That's also no medium. So there's only really, that's why I call it a quasi false dichotomy, because it's masked. So there's only one choice. It seems like there's two, but in actuality, there's only one. You got it?
Yep, I think I do, but how to tackle the questions of those who are coming up with these arguments that in case of a water wave in an ocean or maybe sound waves, there is a medium. So when we
Yeah.
extrapolate that to electromagnetic waves,
Well,
why
they don't
isn't there a
exist.
medium?
They
Yeah,
don't
I got that.
exist. They don't exist. Let me tell you something. When you say medium, you immediately invoke material. What's the material for electromagnetic waves? Even if they did exist, what is it?
Yes, that's the part that I got, and I'm going to pose it to those who bring up those questions.
Yeah, because all you would do is have to stop. You don't need to be an expert physicist to figure out how to kill this quick. I just gave it to you. It was the first one out of the gate. Besides what they
Exactly.
Yeah. I would stick with.
You.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much because you made it so clear. Please go ahead.
No. I overtalked you, man. There could be a little bit of a delay here. I'm not rolling out anything for today's sound. No.
No, I got my point. Thank you so much.
Yes, you did. Yep. I would stick with that one because you could kill it quick and everyone's going to laugh.
Kiwi, is that not basically both of those questions are begging the question? They're both begging the question fallacy.
You can. Both of those choices begging the question. No, they're non sequiturs.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they're non sequiturs at their base. Boy, this is going to be a short show. I thought that this was going to be pretty short. And
Well, where's the controversy? Wait.
Everyone wants to jump in now. Go ahead.
Where's the controversy? I was waiting for the Ether believers to step forward and challenge you.
There is no debate. How in the world can you debate this?
Well, they're stupid. They'll come in and try it.
No, you can't.
No thing is nothing.
You know what I'm going to do? And I suggest all you do, don't get into the minutia of light. Let me take care of this wave particle stuff. I'm not even going to get into that. If you go to the description box under every single one of my videos, I've already dealt with this years ago. And at least 80 times that I can remember officially. That's officially doing presentations on it. That's not the countless times I did it off the cuff. So if you have any questions, just go down there. The description box underneath my videos is a gold mine. Maybe not for others. Check that description box. If you have any questions, go watch those presentations. What I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you right away. I'm going to stick with the first one. Because I could kill it. It's the rate limiting step. Right? Show me a non-manifest medium. It's a married bachelor. You can't do it. It's all over. The only thing you can do, like I said, is feebly attempt to redefine medium. You're not going to be able to do that. You'll try it. That's what ballers do, right? They try to redefine terms, right? Yeah, we're all used to that. But as soon as you try to do that, I'm going to expose you, and then you're going to get laughed at. And then, as soon as you do that, if you could do that, if somebody would leave you do that, then you immediately are neck deep in a law of identity violation, whatever definition you come up with. A law of identity violation and equivocating fallacy. That's it. It's over. Good night. Have a nice day.
Yeah,
Wait,
man. So
today it's a non-manifest medium. I was told before it was a dense medium.
A dense,
That's cool.
it's a dense medium of what? If density, okay, it has to
I don't
be.
know. That's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, how do you figure out the density of this medium? And then I think the same person later on was just like, nah, it's a non-manifest medium. Oh, okay. That
So,
checks out.
We have
can't
AI. Your
concentrate,
mic is
right?
you're lighting up. Hold up a second. Your mic's lighting up, but I can't hear you. You want to? Do you have something to add?
Well, I was whenever I'm asking people these questions about this kind of stuff, because that's something you can do if you care to entertain people. Is, I give them phenomena and I ask them, how does a wave fit this phenomenon? For example, the single slit, right? If it's a wave, you would expect that the light would imprint itself upon the entire photoplate and not have a discrete pattern.
Precisely. Yeah.
So I need an answer. Like, if I'm going to be satisfied with your line of thinking, I need an answer for such things. Now, I will confess that I came in undercover into the server a while ago and started asking these types of questions of people. And rather than be given straight answers, I was given derision, moral accusations, intelligence accusations. I work for the federal government accusations. So it's really telling, even if your position is correct, right? When the first thing you do when you're asked questions about it is completely malign the character of the other person.
Yep.
And that's what I ran into almost, and I'm going to put this very simply, almost without fail. There's like one person or two out of the 50 or so more that I spoke to that were capable of composing themselves and actually answering questions without taking it to personal connotation. That's very interesting. That shows you that there's something behind this. It's not as simple as, okay, these are the facts, man.
Yeah, I really
Did
don't
you
want
ask
to get
questions about this and you were accused of working for the government because of that? That's crazy.
Oh, worse than that, bro. Worse than
What the hell?
Well, let me put it to you this way. Obtruse angle. Sorry if I gave away your original name. How can there exist a non-manifested medium?
I know that sounds like a God tier question.
Well, it's not manifested yet. That's all.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Well, look, this is the wiggle room in which a lot of people live within this argument. Is like, okay, obviously, if you believe in specific theism, right, we're an immaterial entity that has no spatial dimensions or spatial properties or material properties, created the material world, which has those things. And somewhere in between those two things is some kind of transformation or manifestation. And in there's a plausibility of belief that you can come up with any kind of story you want. And especially if you have no validation of it and you use logic alone, you could say, oh, it must be true because I've defined the premises in this manner, therefore the conclusion follows. The problem with logic is you must prove the premises to be true. For example, let's say, for instance, you say light is a wave that behaves like a wave, just like a water wave. Okay, where's the evidence of that? Well, it's called a wave, isn't it?
Yes, you dodged my question. I want a direct answer. How can you have a non-manifested medium when a medium is defined as material?
You couldn't.
What did you? I didn't hear that.
You couldn't.
Thank you.
So I got my answer from the quote of Einstein where it says that space without ether is unthinkable. That's exactly what I was looking for, because the flat earthers who invoke ether are of the opinion that Einstein debunked the ether
Yes,
because
sir.
he debunked the Michelson-Morley experiment.
Experiment. That
Some-
wasn't an experiment.
Yeah, but let's not get into the technicalities. So whatever, the Michelson-Morley, whatever that was, people invoke that experiment that
That's not an experiment.
Einstein debunked.
That's
Say it
not-
right, Politrick. Politrick.
That's not an experiment.
Demonstration.
Demonstration. Okay. Yeah, that's the right
Politrick.
word.
All right, yeah, we're just messing with you, flat earther. We know because you have to say it because that's part of the title, Michelson
I
Morley.
know that.
You'll see some of them now. They'll walk softly, right? They'll say Michelson Morley, but they won't say experiment because they know it's their ass.
I've heard that. The Mickelson Morley, yeah.
Well, the answer, friends, the answer to all those problems is simple. You redefine terms
Yes.
within your niche. It's that simple. That's how you solve all your problems with your conclusions. You just redefine all the words you used in your logic.
I've heard people redefining the term vacuum. Come on. They have redefined the term vacuum in order to suit their own perspectives, and I'm talking about flat earthers.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Let me check one more thing. Hopefully the sound is still coming through. I haven't checked on that recently.
No, it was just an awkward silence.
Yeah, let me go back. Let me go back and check. Hey, give me a thumbs up out there in YouTube land. Are you guys hearing me? Are you hearing?
It's coming through. I hear.
Are you here? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool. All right. Let me put
Huey.
this down. I'm surprised. I'm shocked to divert a little bit away from the top. The topic's dead. I'm not going to spend time showing how phlogiston is dead. I just killed it. Now, let me just say this. I announced a week and a half ago, I said on numerous threads, voice channels, that you guys are free. You Ether believers are free to do whatever you want. You can talk about it. I will not interject. Get it out of your system, because come Saturday, it's done. So, Ether believers, I catch you, right? I catch you outside, out here in your little fairy tale land. I'm going to expose you. I'm going to expose you so fast, Mae West is going to blush. Just so you know, I don't know what anyone else is going to do, but I'm on my original mandate that I spoke about 4 years ago, and I'll be the bad guy. No problem. Say goodnight to the bad guy. Hope we're all
Huey,
tracking. Go ahead.
we
Flat.
we could still talk a lot about like psychology, you know.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not into
no,
it.
no, no. It's really valuable.
No, it's
This is
not.
good for us. Yeah, it is.
Not to me.
They're falling into the same trap as gravity. They're pursuing
No,
an
probably not
aberration.
good.
No, they're pursuing an aberration, just like the people who really believe in gravity. Just compare it. The
Oh, no.
patterns are remarkably similar. It is just the same thing. They're following an aberration. They're following a ghost of connections, short-term connections, and it never really adds up to actual proof.
It's
right?
What
actually.
connections?
Hold on.
They even went as far as to
Oh,
embrace
brother.
this and declare, like, yeah, it's provable because something has to be there, even though nothing is there, right? They've gone that next step. I've never
That's
seen that
coherent.
before. Nobody went there with gravity, right? They've went there with ether. So this is the next level, but we can still deal with it. because they're just delusional.
I changed the analogy.
Aberration.
I changed the analogy that the ether is the flat earth's gravity. I changed that analogy. It's dark matter is the flat earth's ether. Dark matter, same thing, only it's dark. Right?
Hey, from a some fundamental substance level, yes, that's
Yep.
probably the best comparison.
Yep.
But the overall implications of people doing it, it's more like gravity. It has that kind of bandwidth, that kind of
Yeah,
weight.
but there's no dark matter without gravity, ain't it?
Yeah, but
well,
ether
if you-
believers don't necessarily fall for that. And it's probably likely that a lot of ether believers are ex-gravity believers. Hey?
So QA, I have a more
Look at the
fundamental
record.
question, if you may allow me.
Go ahead.
QA?
Yeah.
So physical waves or mechanical waves are actually physical in nature. That means they have a medium. Am I scientifically correct in saying that electromagnetic waves do not require a medium? Because that is what the definition of
No,
electromagnetic.
you need to listen to the presentation again. Electromagnetic waves do not exist.
Oh my God, I did listen, but then you have to address the point that electromagnetic waves do exist. don't they?
So after I destroy that electromagnetic waves don't exist, I mean systematically, now I have to deal with the topic of electromagnetic waves. Really, is that your point? Yeah,
What
I
are
don't think so.
electromagnetic waves then?
I don't
What
think
are
so.
electromagnetic waves and how are they different from
You
mechanical
can
or
you can try to
physical waves?
overtalk me, right, and be louder. It's still idiotic
Sorry.
and non sequitur.
My question is, how are they different? How are electromagnetic waves different from mechanical waves or physical waves?
Okay. Friend.
One doesn't exist and one does.
In the presentation, he identified electromagnetic wave as a misnomer. So if you take the name in light of that and say it's called an electromagnetic wave, therefore it's electromagnetic and a wave, but it's a misnomer, then you're kind of screwing up.
So we shouldn't be using the word wave for electromagnetic something, or we shouldn't be using the word wave for physical waves. What's the case?
False dichotomy.
Well, yeah, a physical wave is definitely a wave.
But
Electromagnetic waves don't exist.
but they are waves.
They're
aren't
not
they?
waves.
So why did you call them electromagnetic waves?
No, I didn't call them that. They did. The ether believer did.
So what should we be calling them then?
What should we call what?
Electromagnetic dash.
What should we call something that doesn't exist? I don't know. You're going to have to give me something else.
I mean,
Just say-
light. You are
say
saying
It,
is
it, it
electromagnetism.
appears to already have a name, though. What? Like,
I mean,
it doesn't.
the electromagnetic
Whether it exists or
spectrum.
not, you're calling it electromagnetic waves, right?
No,
So
the spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, X-rays, UV rays.
Light. Are you
the
talking
visible
about light?
Electromagnetism.
Hold on a second. Wait.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. You said X-rays and the electromagnetic spectrum. That's light. Light's not an electromagnetic wave. So I call it light.
Do they have different wavelengths and frequencies?
Oh, really? You hold on a second, Obtruse. Can you tell me how light is assigned a wavelength and a frequency, please?
You're going to get from me the basic answers.
No, you don't know. You need to find that out, and I'll tell you how to find that out because I'm definitely not going
Please
through
help
it.
me.
Hold on a second.
help.
Relax. Go to the description box underneath this video. And you go to, which video is that? That is quantum mechanics and the quantum eraser explained at about 22 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And then you'll see and you'll say, OMG. How about that?
I might need to watch that once again, but I have watched all your videos, QE. I'm a big fan.
But that will specifically answer your question in spades. Or answer the question I posted to you that will explain the alleged predicament that we're in.
Okay, got it.
How about that? And if you do that, Flat Arthur, you come back next time, could be Tuesday, and say, hey, listen, I went there, QE, I listened to that, and you're full of it. And here's why.
Done.
For your entertainment purposes, let's say I went out and I wanted to use a jackhammer to bust up some concrete. And I put that jackhammer on a meter that measures the interval of the strikes and represents them in a wave, right? Time, distance, etc. And the graphical representation is a wave, and I explain it as a wave to somebody, right, using math of a waveform. And I say the waveform of the strikes of my jackhammer is thus, right? And here's the wave to look at. And he then goes to his friend and says, that jackhammer requires a medium because it's operating as a wave.
I like that.
Yeah.
I already know that
I
part
really like
where
that one.
where in the double slit experiment, the wave function is just a function. It is not something physical. It is only a representation or a description of the movement of the particles. So I get that part, but I don't know how that relates to photons or UV rays or cosmic rays or radio waves, etc.
Yeah, fair, but
Photons are a convention.
if something is a ray, how can it simultaneously be a wave?
It isn't a what? A ray?
Now, what's a
If
ray?
something
How
is a ray,
How do you define a ray?
Beam. Right.
there you go.
So, yeah. Well, it isn't a wave. It was. It's just it has weird, unexpected side effects, like diffraction cascade. Right? It splits up more than usual, and that has been interpreted as a wave function. It's an interpretation. It's a mathematical extraction. That's all. It's a unique phenomenon, right? It's been integrated with, well, what I don't agree with, that supposedly matter does that too. It doesn't really. It like matter beams or matter particle shooting and all that. It never really has any dispensing beyond 3 beams. Really, it
Okay,
does.
so simply
Light
put, if
is
I
the
am
only thing
asked,
that splits up beyond 3 beams.
okay, if
Right?
simply put, I'm asked the difference between a physical or a mechanical wave and an electromagnetic wave, then I should be answering like electromagnetic, whatever you're saying is actually not a wave. Or should I be telling them the difference that electromagnetic waves do not require a medium and physical waves do require a medium?
Electromagnetic
Just say
waves.
that the
That's a
electromagnetic waves are
field.
mathematical.
Look,
That-
magnets,
That's what they
anything
are.
related to magnets are fields. They're not waves.
Yep.
It's a
Okay,
field.
so
It might approach you
yeah,
as a
fair.
wave. It's a field.
Well, let me explain it back to him in light of the jackhammer example. So in the jackhammer example, if somebody misidentifies the jackhammer as functioning as a wave, right? Therefore, it needs a propagative medium to induce its striking capacity. Would you tell them like, oh, it's not a water wave? Or would you just say, oh, no, you're completely misunderstanding the way in the word wave is used in this application?
So that's the point, right? The use of the word wave is misleading.
No, it's not. It's a very mechanical description. It just doesn't apply to magnetism or light.
Different in case of, but it's different in case of physical waves and in case of electromagnetic propagation or whatever word you want to choose for that.
Field. It's a field. That's what it is.
What?
Light
You
is
can
an
only-
electromagnetic field.
You
Light
can only
is
ever
not.
give it a description.
Hold on a
Magnetism.
second. Hold on a second, Arwen and Brian. Let me say this one more time. Light, that is photons, which are particles, are neither electric, magnetic, or waves. So how can something that is neither electric, magnetic or waves be called electromagnetic waves. Did you see that part of the presentation? Or did you go to sleep?
Yes, I did. But can you please tie it back to how the electromagnetic wave function in case of the double slit experiment is different from what you're saying right now?
Yeah, it's non sequitur because electromagnetic waves don't exist, so I can't do it.
The wave, the wave function in case of the delayed choice experiment.
But that wasn't electromagnetism.
Why is this
That
being
wasn't
so? Every
electromagnetism.
time magnetism is involved, it's a field. It's not a wave.
Hey,
it's
Arwen,
a field.
hold up.
Magnetism involved, field.
Hold up, Arwen. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, the point I wanted to make is in the double slit, that's not electromagnetism, that's light. So the wave function within that had nothing to do with electromagnetism, it was light.
What about when they do? What about? Hold on a second. What about when they conduct the double slit experiment without light? SpaghettiOs. Sorry.
I'm in the spaghetti aisle right now.
So your question right there, Flat Earther, more or less was non sequitur. You keep on invoking electromagnetic waves when they don't exist. Simple.
Okay, that's a little hard to defend.
Oh,
That's
no, it's not.
untenable.
I just defended it in my presentation. Go rewatch the presentation again. I not only defended it, I smashed it into smithereens with substance.
Yeah, you can't even put that together right now. You
Exactly.
tried to.
Yep.
So we shouldn't be using the term electromagnetic waves. Is that so?
I don't. I never did.
So that's the problem. So when I say all these things to people who are flat earthers and who have given up all their beliefs on the traditional modern science, when I bring up these same definitions that a wave requires a medium, then they say you are relying on the definition that the modern science, which you are denying, are presenting to you.
No, that's an all or nothing
the fact
fallacy.
that-
That's an all or nothing fallacy. A medium is defined as being physical, no matter who's saying it. Can you show a non-physical medium? Show me another definition where a medium's non-physical. Anywhere.
The ether.
Nice circular banjo, do-si-do. That was priceless.
Got it. I got it.
Yeah, you did. Good one. Kudos.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If the double slit experiment showed that light, I think I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to misrepresent you, that shows that light is instantaneous from A to B, or from point to point. So it can't have a speed, a rate, a measurement, right? Then if that would, that debunks, let's just say, Einstein's relativity claims and his Einstein's what they call Einstein's convention, which is his speed of light, which is the two-way speed of light convention that he needs for that whole colloquial carry on. Then doesn't the double slit experiment also debunk all claims of ether?
No.
I don't know why we're getting into quantum mechanics. I really don't. This is an ether presentation. I suppose we're getting there because of the propagation of light. Maybe that's the angle. Is that correct?
Well, yeah. Well, it's fair because
sorry, 1 second. I just want to clear up there. The point I was making is that if the double slit experiment debunks Einstein, and Einstein requires ether as part of his relativity.
No,
does
your
the
premise
double
is
slit
wrong.
experiment not?
No, stop.
Yeah, is it?
Stop. Your premise
Okay.
is wrong. No, that's not what debunks Einstein. Einstein's debunked long before the double slit experiment. Yeah, we can get into.
But I thought.
Yeah.
So.
Go ahead, Brian.
How this is relevant.
AI. 1 second, Brian. We can
Yep.
get into that at another point. I don't want to go off the topic. I know it's connected. I just don't want to go down that road right now with this presentation. Now, we can, what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to have to roll out of here pretty quickly. What I'm going to do is I'll probably open discussion the Tuesday show so everyone could get their act together, maybe less emotional, and then put down certain things that they would like to bring up in regards to my presentation, and then we can go for it there. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's good. I didn't actually realize I was going so far off topic. Okay, I understand.
No, I'm not dogging you out. I don't think you went that far off. I think it's connected, like AI said, and I intimated, but I really don't want to go down there right now. I just want to focus on Aether. What is it?
Yeah.
I would suggest rewatching my presentation again and listening very closely to each point, because it seems like a lot of people here have not listened to the presentation or didn't want to watch it or listen to it. That's what it looks like to me. Because a lot of
Including those that are present.
So QA,
Oh, I
my
listen.
request is I will listen to this presentation also, but I would want you to repeat all those things that you wanted me to watch once again. Please, can you please repeat it for not just for me, but for all the other members here in the panel before we come to your show on Tuesday?
Yes, because you brought up a point, and it's funny. We dealt with this point with, I think it was Anon about 3 years ago, where where I continually dragged him around by his short hairs because he kept appealing to the same thing that you brought a question up to. And that is, well, if light's not a wave, then why does it have wavelength and frequency? And I drug him around, and I kept on telling him, because I had already gave a block of instruction on this that is quite illuminating. And that presentation, or that little block, and I'll say it again, go to the description box, go down to quantum mechanics and quantum eraser explained, something like that, that video. Go to somewhere around 22 minutes in that vicinity. I don't want to watch, you don't have to watch. I would suggest watching that whole darn thing. But go for this particular one, go to about 22 minutes, and you'll come to somewhere, it'll have diffraction grading on it. You're in the lane then. Okay? Then if you don't get it after that, then please bring it up on Tuesday. Good?
Oh.
Okay. Anything else before we wrap things up?
Yeah, in light of what Brian said, is that if you have a proposition that thing A requires thing B in the first instance, and thing A is experimented on and demonstrated to do thus, you must explain how the thing that you require satisfies the result. And you have to be able to do so with somebody who's inquiring about it without spazzing out and, calling them every name under the book because they don't follow or agree.
Thanks.
Like if somebody asks you if light, prove to me light is a wave, like you say, and you go, oh, you're just a denier, you're just an anti-believer, et cetera, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, well, have them prove it's an electromagnetic wave. Good luck with that. Elijah, my apologies, sir. I thought that you had the unmute automatically. And I just blew by you. I didn't even think about it. So you are off mute, sir, and consider my apologies. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good show. I really enjoyed it.
Is that why you wanted to come off mute?
No, there were multiple times that I wanted to interject right now that we're winding down. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for the show.
Let me see if I can't work a little magic here and so I don't have to deal with this again.
It was a great show, not just a good show. It was great.
Flat Arthur, you just at ease.
I agree. Just a little hot. Just deal with it.
So I think I need to
What?
make you something in rolls here. Let me see if I can't do that for you, Elijah. I hate this thing. Go up there. Let me check that. Make sure I don't go out of it or it'll collapse. That should hook you up, Elijah. If it doesn't, then you can bitch me out next time. Okay?
All right, appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Like I said, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We'll go with Tuesday. Because this is an emotional topic for a lot of people. I don't know why. But it is. So let's everyone, especially I want everyone to watch the presentation again, because I feel a lot of questions, especially here with the people that actually listen to it. It didn't seem like they really listened to it. So watch it a number of times then with each subtopic. Take your time and say, oh, I see something wrong or a potential error. Write it down. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, whatever. Write those things down. And Tuesday at 1 p.m. U.S. Central, 7 p.m. UK, come on. I'll be live, hopefully, if the sound... Let me take that back. Tentatively, I'll be live. And we can go through here sort of rationally. How about that? Am I off the reservation with this? Or
Sounds great to me.
all right. I'm going to wrap it up then, guys. Okay? So, thanks a lot for coming. We'll see you next time. For you YouTube folks out there, thanks for coming. It's been a wild one. Earlier today with the sound and stuff, I guess it made it all that much more enjoyable. Maybe for you at the beginning, not so much for me. But you'll have that, right? Murphy's always out there lurking, and it seems, to have special attention on me for some reason. If I ever catch that monkey, he's getting an ass whooping. Tell you that much. So hang in there. Hope you got a lot out of it. Like I said, what I would do, if any of you guys out there in YouTube land want to join Tuesday's live stream, go ahead and watch the presentation again. If you don't get it, watch it a third time, fourth time, or fifth time. That's why it's going to be out there. And like I said, write the comments, questions, and concerns, potential errors down. I don't have a problem with it. But let's all calm down, and then let's see if we can reason together. How about that? So, have a great day. I'll catch everyone on the flip side.